What's going on, Twitch and YouTube? Welcome to episode 11 of my Starship Evo U.S.S. Revengeance. I'm Zerly, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we got about an 18, well, almost 19-minute video. We're going to be getting a little bit more detailing done on our nacelles, aka the engines. We're going to add in a little bit more detailing on the pylons as well. And today we're actually going to start some work on the bridge. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting into that. And like I said, through the courses, we're going to be hopping in and out of the interior of the ship, but you can expect more and more focus on the interior as we go, because we're really getting to a point that the majority of the outside of the ship is done. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this thing. I've already gone ahead and hit my symmetry tool, going straight down the middle. And now I'm going to add more of a rib here. Well, not a rib, but a backbone going along the back end of our engine just in the middle. And the reason I'm doing this is I just decided that up here on the engine, it's just missing a tiny, tiny bit of detail. And we're going to do like a bit of ribbing going down the sides here, and I think that'll look cool. Be like a nice little bit of detail that we can add on the ship. But we gotta, remember that we're not looking to add a ton of detail on this thing because it's supposed to be kind of like a covert stealth battleship. So it's going to be very simplistic in some ways, but at the same time, we gotta, try to get certain areas to pop where it needs it. And I think this is definitely going to be one of those areas that call for it. And you see I've got my slanted block here, and I'm just going to skip one every other row here, and I'm just going to bring this almost going all the way back. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to zoom out and see how that looks at that angle. See, that doesn't look too bad. I'm not going to lie, it almost has like kind of like an industrial, basic like industrial like circuit board look going along the sides of the engines. I don't even know if that makes any sense or if that's a thing, but that's kind of what I'm feeling when I look at the side of the engines. Doesn't look bad. Now, something to keep in mind too, since we have our symmetry tool, everything that we're doing on this side is going to repeat the process again for us on the right side engine, but we'll still have to go on the other side of this engine and repeat the same process again. I'm just going to bring that out by 2 more. All right. We're looking pretty good. So now we're just going to bring this going all the way down on the other side. It'll be in pretty good shape. And I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in, not only to today's episode, but just tuning in with me for the Revengeance series in general. So far, I've gotten fairly positive feedback out of this build. I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch these videos and comment on it. Um, if you're enjoying what I'm doing here, definitely let me know in the comments section, or if there's things that you think I can maybe add to this to bring out a little bit more, let me know about that as well. Always also looking for what my next build's going to be, and usually I get my influence from what the community wants, so definitely drop those comments below in the comments section regarding what ships you want to see me do on Starship Evo next. But I've been thinking about what my next build's going to be. We've got a ton of stuff still left to do on this build, but I think at one point I was thinking about doing the Bat plane or something from Keaton's 1989 Batman, but then I was thinking about more. I don't know. I might end up going to another Starship. Um, I might want to try to see if I can go like maybe a little bit bigger than this. I figured out for the most part how to do a circle on here. I know I've been meaning to make a tutorial to show people how to do that. If you do follow me on Steam, you can actually download a template for a near close perfect circle, so you can start your own Federation ships after needing help with that. But yeah, we're definitely going to be getting into that in the future, because I definitely want to do a lot more starships on here, because I really love how this came out. All things considered, that this is my second starship that I've done for Starship Evo. That's not bad. I mean, just over in front of us, past this ship, you can see the NX-01. That was actually the first ship that I made on Starship Evo. So to go from that to this, it's not too bad at all. Anyway, we're going to be moving on here, getting some details done on our pylons. And to do this, we're pretty much going to have to take off the top layer because I brought it all the way back. And the reason I'm doing this is because I actually want to add like a nice cut going through the pylon, going almost all the way up. So unfortunately, that means we have to remove pretty much the top and bottom layer because I brought them all the way back. But that's okay, because we still have the skeleton of this thing to go off of, as you can see on the sides. So it's not like it's going to be really a big deal to rebuild this thing. It should actually, will be a piece of cake. So I'm going to add, do this a little bit gingerly. We're just going to add one more row, and we're just going to start building our way up and see how far I want to bring this cut going up. And then we're going to make it with like a 2-block gap in between. That would be, I think, pretty appropriate. So really all I'm doing is that the skeleton, I'm just adding a block going all the way up until that there's 2-block gap from our front row to where our back row is. And then we're going to come back with half slanted slabs, and we'll do the front side and the back side to smooth it all out. All right, so far so good. Now we're going to switch over to our slant. I guess there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can just do the front portion all together, bang it out, or you can do the back all at once, bang it out, or you can just go side to side. I'm doing a little bit combination of both. Getting done what I can get freely without moving, and then slightly moving backwards. I think that's a pretty effective way to do it. Once we got this side done, we gotta tackle the bottom side, and we'll be in pretty good shape. And from there, we're gonna be moving on to the bridge and starting that out today, which is gonna be pretty cool. I've been looking forward to getting into that. All right, perfect. So we've smoothed out the inside portion of our pylons. Now we're just literally going to repeat the same process again for the underside. Pretty simple at this point. And we're really not altering the design of the pylons at all. Like I said, really all we're doing is adding like a nice cut going into them. And I'm not actually sure what made me want to do this, because I'm pretty certain the ships that I used as a reference, the Vengeance, Riker's ship that was in the finale of Picard, I use that as a reference. Enterprise E, that was another reference. I don't think any of those ships had the cut going through the pylons like this, but I'm pretty sure that there was a ship that had them. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. I might have even been inadvertently thinking of it when I did this, but I'm actually really glad that I did, because like this little cut, like it just I don't know why, but it makes the ship look a little bit more like military-esque to me. All right, so we're looking pretty good. We're going to zoom out, take a look at this thing. Yeah, see, I really like that. That little cut in there. I mean, it looks so much more military and aggressive than it did before. Anyway, we're going to jump forward and we're going to start working on our bridge here. There we go. And see, most of this is literally just a matching game where you need to use the certain blocks on the corners and then the certain blocks in the middle. Get them to match up right. And it doesn't look like we have a ton of room really to work with here, but believe it or not, I was actually able to pretty much build out um, a fully fleshed out bridge for the most part. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a tiny bit small, but it's actually doesn't look too bad when it's all said and done. So you see I'm getting all this stuff out of here. We're starting fresh. I had that stuff down just as a template because I needed to move the ship around just a little bit because I was, testing out the engines and whatnot. But now we're just going to rebuild everything properly and get like a nice console going in here. And as far as the bridge goes, I mean, I just kind of like I didn't use any one specific ship uh, in reference to the bridge, but I think for the most part, like when you've done or seen most ships in Star Trek, like they tend to follow like a general format. You know what I mean? And you could take a couple of liberties here and there with that format, but there's going to be a couple of things that remain constant. Like you got your view screen in front of you, and then you've got a two-person console where they sit side by side directly behind that, and then behind that is your captain's chair. And of course, you have your computer consoles going around you, typically in an oval or circle. And I know we've got our computer there in the front for right now, but we're actually, not today, but when we get a lot more of the ship interior fleshed out, we will be making a computer room. Because I tried to challenge myself with this build and see just how much I could do with the little space that I had. And I was kind of surprised with that. I was able to get a lot done, all things considered, but at the same time, it doesn't have everything that you'd expect a starship to have. I just kind of came to the conclusion that this would be like a very minimal staff staffed crew. It would pretty much be self-automated at this point, so you really wouldn't need a lot at with that, other than maybe like engineering, and of course like your ship computer and a couple of crew quarters. Other than that, I mean, I think you can get away with uh, editing everything out just for the sake of the scale of this thing. But I don't think it looks too bad. I think this is going to work out just fine, at least anyway for this next sized attempt. Um, Being my second build on Starship Evo with a Federation ship anyway. Right now, I'm just trying to get my ceiling lined up so that I can tie the rest of the room together with that. So I'm just closing off that back end. All right, we're looking pretty good so far. Yeah, see, we can't use the full blocks. What we'll do is we'll just cheat. We'll use the smaller one to stretch it across. You never really would notice. We're going to put a block there and there. This is going to be our main doorway right here to come in. So now we pretty much got our back wall established here. Room's starting to come together a little bit more. We have a sense of scale on how much room we're going to have to work with. Just enough to do what we need to do, I think. We want to make sure that we connect in the right order there, otherwise it's not going to work. We're in good shape now. Always want to make sure that we get that connected to the yoke correctly. And now we can move on a couple other things here. I want to get our captain's chair in here. We're going to use a smaller block here, kind of make like a little podium for it to sit on. And we're really not just going to be calling it a day with the captain's chair. We're going to try to make like some cool armrests to go on this thing. So I think we're going to grab the simple chair, and this will, I think, it'll be a little bit easier to edit maybe. I want to bring that just one higher. Anything more than that will be too high, but that's just about perfect. All right, now we're just going to stretch this thing going forward, I think. There we go. It's giving me problems here. I had to build out a couple of blocks going around on the side. It's not wanting to let me stretch it out. Not the way I want it to. But that's okay. We can work around it. We're just going to temporarily delete the chair. Let's get that out of the way. That out of the way. There we go. Hey, because you never just want to throw like a basic chair down. Captain always has to have the coolest chair in the room and the most comfortable looking chair, for sure. I like that, using that specific block. And I hate calling them, I can't call them by name because they're literally just small wedges of the big ones. Or I stand corrected, they do have names. Look at that. It shows how much I pay attention to that. No, but I think that looks pretty good. I still think like now that we have this piece that we're bringing back here, what we're gonna have to do is like establish like a back piece, so it looks like it's just one. You know what I mean? Kind of like what we got going on right there. That doesn't look too bad. All right. She works. We got our captain's chair. We've got a base outline here for our bridge. We're not done with the bridge by a long shot. This is literally just a skeleton of what it's going to be. But doing all these things and making these changes now as we go, ship's really going to start to come together. And if you follow me on Steam um, for Starship Evo and you have this game, you can actually download this build right now. Just search me on Steam under the workshop under Zero Elite, and you can download this ship and take a look and see what the finished ship actually looks like. So there we go. We got a little bit of lighting in here. Let's see, really the main focus right now is we have enough room to walk around between the consoles, and we do. We literally have just enough room here to do what we need to do. I think that's going to work out just fine. So when we come back next week, we'll have a nice point to go forward with. Still have a little bit more. Well, we have a lot more work to do on engineering and the rest of our interior. But I think at this point we're really going to be focusing on the interior at much more, because I know that there's one or two things that we have to change on the outside, or that I did change during the course of when I built this. Specifically with the front end of the lower hull, I know I reworked that, but I don't remember if I did it like around this point or if it was later on towards the end. I think it was towards the end of the build, but we'll get into that as we go. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in today's episode. If you did enjoy this content, if you can help me out, hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. Can't thank you enough for that. And new subscribers, don't forget to hit notifications on so you always get notified when those new videos drop. And speaking of new videos, don't forget you can always catch my live streams Sundays through Thursdays, typically between 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Zero Elite. Also, don't forget you can catch my videos posting Monday through Friday on YouTube at youtube.com/C/Zero Elite. My Starship Evo builds drop on Monday, and Minecraft is Tuesdays through Fridays, and those videos drop at 10 a.m. Eastern. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week, and I'll catch you on the next episode.